Asia salute. DBS salute. Yeah, we got a good one. We got a good one, but short one today, people. You know, I had to jump on this for everybody else, though. You understand me? We got a good one, man. What we got? We definitely got a good one. We definitely got a good one, man. Y'all see what the title is, man? Y'all see what the title is? Tap in, tap in. Definitely tap in. Definitely tap in. We got a nice show. Hopefully, soon to be in theaters near you. You did. We see where it go. You know what I mean? Shout out to Mikey B and Smitty Rock. You know what I mean? Putting on dope content. You know, for the past couple of days. You know what I'm saying? Very, very dope content. You know, definitely mental nourishment for those who know they know. You know, but this is what happens when, you know, when trolling goes elsewhere. You know what I mean? When trolling goes elsewhere. So, you know, I guess to say, or I guess I should say, it's safe to say we have two respectable men who's willing to put their differences to the side, you know, and go from having words to having a boxing match. Rightfully so. Dope content. You know what I mean? Salute to Manny Brim. Salute to Zip with the Drip. So y'all see in the title, that's what's supposed to go down. You know, a boxing match, if I'm not mistaken. Zip putting up $1,000 for this situation to go down. You heard? Which is good money. But you know, it's always science behind the mathematics. You know what I mean? And here, the science behind the mathematics is you know, it's holding yourself accountable. You know what I mean? It's definitely holding yourself accountable. 1609 salute. It's definitely holding yourself accountable, man. And as y'all seen in the past couple of days, you know, it made it seem as, you know, pretty much people was, you know, going at Manny Brim, or should I say Loaf Life Manny, aka Manny Brim, you know, where he feel, you know, he deserves a Grammy You know what I'm saying? So we'll see. But for me, it just comes from pause, holding yourself accountable. You know what I mean? In this situation, from where I look at it from which is the outside, it's just pretty much holding yourself accountable. AP salute. It's just holding yourself accountable, people. You know what I mean? When I always was told, you did, when you get caught up in that web, meaning having to explain yourself consistently, it's not a good look. You know what I mean? It's not a good look. You know. So from the things that I just been learning, watching what's been going on, because I don't have a issue, people, with not hitting that live button for myself. You know what I mean? I know how to say, let me jump in fan mode, should I say, and enjoy the show. I know a lot of people been like, damn, I ain't been seeing you, yo, why you ain't been going live? Me and my man Artie, we got Hip Hop Talk Weekly. It's a lot to talk about dealing with hip hop. So I just been kind of like, then this came about. The whole, low life Manny situation just been hitting the airwaves like crazy. You know what I mean? Had all the big bros pulling up. They bought him out. One thing I can say, he bought the bros out. You know what I mean? Whether they was for him or against him, or correct his story or to go with the story. He definitely bought the bros out. Now, one thing that I really want to, I want to tap into, and again, salute to Mikey B and salute to Smitty Brim. You know what I'm saying? Smitty Rock, my bad. They brought great content to the table, and I was slow on it. You know what I'm saying? I had the panel a couple of times, and I didn't really stream it to my joint. You know what I'm saying? But I play a fair game. You know what I mean? Not to say I probably didn't have the green light to do it, but I didn't bring that to the table, and I ain't even asked the big bro, can I do so? So I didn't. Again, I didn't think about me. I tackled it as a fan. I timed in. I gave my perspective on it and what I felt pretty much was needed when you sit back and you watching the situation unfold, right? So as I timed in on certain topics and certain things that needed to be heard or certain things that needed to be said, one thing for sure, two things for certain. What I learned, sometimes you gotta zip it and you have to listen. You understand me? You definitely have to zip it and you gotta listen. Because you won't be the only one that I have information twisted, right? Now, it only should happen one time. You know what I mean? But again, like I said, when you explaining yourself on a consistent level, on every time you pretty much open your mouth, you're defending what you said due to the fact that someone else told you this, you have to say, pause. Hold on. Now let me pay attention. Because more than one person is telling me that my information is wrong. And the information that I'm talking about is pretty much history. You know what I'm saying, people? It's history. So that's that's my take on it. You know what I'm saying? And again, you know, um, today, which was another dope one. Him and Zip going back and forth, and Manny was pretty much like, yo, I was just trolling. You know what I'm saying? People salute. I was just trolling and things of that nature, which is cool. You know what I mean? You can't really tell nobody how to conduct themselves on a platform or on social media, period, as a whole. Pause. You know what I mean? But when you a representation of a brotherhood and you got brothers up there that's putting you on the free game, you just gotta listen. Again, you're gonna hear this word a lot in this live, which is gonna be a short one but a dope one. Don't let this mental nourishment go over your head. You understand? It's listen. It's just listen. You know what I mean? So all you gotta do is listen. And once you know and understand how to listen, can't nobody tell you how to win. You understand me? Nobody. So, before I get into my little, 1, 2, like I said, it's going to be a quick one, not a long one. I just wanted to jump on this joint before everybody else get to it. You know what I'm saying? I'm a little guy. You know what I'm saying? I'm monetized, commercials and all that, but yet still, when you go another direction, I mean, y'all ain't catching me up here going back and forth, hollering, spitting at my phone. You know what I'm saying? I'm off that. You know what I'm saying? I'm on the bigger and better things. I got some good projects coming up. Again, like y'all know, me and Artie got Hip Hop Talk Weekly, which we'll be diving into that a little more. Pause. I got my guy who's behind the G-Wall, you know what I mean, aka in jail. I'll be pushing that a little more, you know what I mean, dealing with the program, which is the innocent program. I'll be pushing that. You know what I'm saying? I got a lot of brothers that want to come through my platform and use my platform for the right reasons. So my job was, just kind of wean off the arguing and the back and forth and pretty much having weird conversations with people that I know can't even walk in my shoes. You know what I'm saying? I'm just, and my man Mikey B voice, I'm just being honest. You know what I'm saying? A lot of things, they throw out, they wouldn't be able to do that in my face. You understand what I'm saying? I'm just being honest in my man Mikey B voice. You understand me? So, I took it upon myself and said, yo, you know what? If I want better for myself, I got to do better. And in the mix of me doing better, you come on here, internet want to see rah, 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 rah. They want to, you know what I mean? And I say, I know I'm going to take a hit dealing with the views. Because, I'm Mr. Shoot Right Back, a.k.a. the Dark Side General. You know what I mean? I built my channel off of the rah, 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 rah. And I'm still on it. Still on it. But sometimes you got to know and understand what's going to work for you in the long run and what you really trying to do, towards your business. And, as y'all know, this is, my business. You know what I'm saying? Us Never Them LLC. You understand me? So I'm going to take a little hit with the views. And I'm all right with that. Like I said, I don't care if I'm talking to one person in the building. I'm going to put on like I got 1 million people watching me. You understand me? So those are one of the things, that I could take for me, which is the understanding. I could take that for me. So I can give that advice back out because I'm going through the transition. Sometimes you got to sit back, zip it, and just listen. You know what I'm saying? And just listen. You know what I mean? Y'all already know. Y'all see, 050 Bucks. Y'all already know. Shout out to 050 The Movement. My guy Manny Brim. My guy Harlem Legend. You know what I mean? That's who gave me the opportunity to do what I do. You know what I mean? And I salute them for that. Now you get a lot of people that, that's rah, rah, rah about China and all this and all that. Listen, at the end of the day, my guy's a grown man. He know how to handle his handle. You know what I mean? But what I won't never do is get up here and slander my man's name. You know what I mean? I've been going through that. Well, for those who know, they've been following me. I've been going through that pretty much my whole YouTube career. You know what I mean? And I ain't got nothing wrong with it. You know what I mean? I will always. Well, what I won't do is I won't slander. You know what I mean? It's not the cloth I'm cut from. You know what I mean? No matter who like them, no matter who don't like them. That be on them to kind of like take care or you know, handle they handle, as I would say. You understand me? So, you know, again, you know, Zip came up there, you know, threw that question at me. You know, somebody wanted it, whatever. Listen, they got to handle that. They got the homie info. They got to contact the info. I'm not no messenger. You know what I'm saying? I'm definitely not that. You understand me? So, you know, at the end of the day, I had to explain to that thing. You know, they say, oh, well, you know, you 050. Right, I represent that. And I'm going to continue to represent that. You understand? I'm going to continue to represent that. But as well as representing the meaning of 050, which is the meaning that I hold on my shoulder. You understand what I'm saying? I wear that. I wear that on my sleeve all day, every day. And for those who know, they know. You understand? So it's pretty much not more or less of, you know, taking a hit or throwing a curveball, you know what I'm saying, at the movement, because I would never do that. I would never get myself caught up into that. You know what I mean? I'm not one of those that somebody will throw an alley-oop and then I get the alley-oop and I go on my way and do what I do and I turn back and I just start being, nah, I'm not doing that. That's just like if you ask me, you know, I had the Bozo of the Week. You know what I mean? I'm sure everybody been watching since or before I came with the Bozo of the Week. It wasn't too many people throwing the word Bozo around. You know, I took a break on that, try to go with the celebrity Bozo. Now you see a lot of people throwing that word around. Bozo. There's a lot of people. And there's a lot of people acting like a bozo. You know, so that was my reason, which we'll be back with that. You know what I mean? I'm revamping it. We'll be back with that. You know what I'm saying? But that was just one of my reasons. You know what I'm saying? Like, all right, I see it. You know what I mean? But who am I? You know what I mean? I didn't create the word. You know what I mean? I definitely ain't do that. You know what I mean? But it is what it is. But we here today, man. Like I said, some short, some light. Before I get into my spiel, you know what I'm saying? You know, I'm going to do what I do. You understand? And let it be known what I'm repping. You understand me? And, you know, got something new and improved. Shout out to my man, Renegade Society Production, Dedicated Grind Music. Shout out to my man, El Plaga Trade Pound 7. You understand me? They make it happen for you, boy, man. You dig? So on that note, man, y'all tune in the time in, man. And we'll get back to the spiel. You dig?
Dedicated Grind Music. They thought the game was just a race to find a single income, a lottery ticket, one lucky shot. Nah, put all your dreams in one small pot. But I was studying the bylaws, fine print. Every loophole the rich use, the law ain't just a wall, it's a floor to build upon. Stand firm on code, that's how the weak become strong. One stream's a creek, two's a flow. But I got rivers where my money go. From real estate deeds to digital cream. A silent empire and a shared dream. Not a king alone, but a network of crowns connecting downtowns to brand new towns. So when they ask, who gave you the keys? I point to my people, moving with ease. We built the door. It's us, never them, standing on live, building our plan. It's us, never them, networks to empires again and again. It's us, never them, streams turn to rivers, floating the land. We are. It's us, never them. Oh. The handshake is the original contract. Mutual value, a natural fact. I don't want followers, I need partners to scale the blueprint, expand the gardens. You hold the tech, she hold the land. He moved the prodigal across the sand. We meet on Sundays, not just to pray, but to merge the assets, plot the way. A plethora, yeah, a beautiful flood. Diversified roots in the financial mud. So if one sector ever takes a dive, the other seven keep the hive alive. We cite the statue, we claim our right to assemble capital by day and night. This is commerce, this is pure, a wealth machine that is secure. They see a person, we see a node, a link of light on a golden road. We are the never there. To them are scattered lone wolves in the frost. One source of income, one bridge if it's lost. But us is a consortium, a holding firm, weathering every single market squirm. We stand on the bedrock of legal might. Our empire grows in the broad daylight. Check the legend, it's all above board. This is the harvest for what we sold for us. Dedicated grind music. Hey, never down. Let it go, never down. Never down. Who's on the D? Never down. Who's on the Y? Never down. Who's on the rise? Never down. Who's on the rise? Never down.
That's a fact. Fiery. Shout out to my man Renegade Society Production. It's us, never them. You understand me? Shout out to the Big Bros for allowing me to jack that. You understand? Shout out to the Big Bros for putting on and made it possible for me to carry that torch. You understand? Shout out to the Big Bros who showed, that knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. So as I move through this journey of life, I can understand that understanding that I'm going to make and bring forth the life which I live every day will be understood. You understand? And this is where we get us never them. You know what I mean? With 5 5s. You understand me? And on that note, let's just get right into this just real quick. So, like I told y'all, man, we got Manny Brim been running around the internet all crazy, man, contradicting itself. You understand what I'm saying? Saying this, saying that. You know what I mean? Nothing never adding up. You know what I mean? Calling himself OG. He got the OGs pulling up. He don't want to listen. I mean, he's just all over the place. You know what I mean? And the thing that just bothered me was that when you had the elders that came up there and they gave him free game, because obviously the information that he had, it wasn't right and exact. You understand what I'm saying? And what made that dope and necessary is because when you look at what's going on in the world today, dealing with the brotherhood, dealing with this Damu thing, that's what get it diluted. You get people who get third, fourth string information, and they start going around giving this information to maybe they pups to other people. Other people may overhear it. Other people may ear hustle. They may hear it. And then it gets diluted because once it leaves one person's mouth and get to the other person's ear, that's what we call secondhand information. And then once that person get it, now that's going to another person's ear. Now it goes on and on and on. You know what I mean? And when you dilute information that should not be diluted, that becomes a problem. You understand? So this is why, for me, and I always tell Manny this as well, like sometimes you got to just shut up. No disrespect, but you got to shut up and listen, because now you don't have to get secondhand information. Now you can get the information that you need. So now on your journey, you can give the proper information. Now, I'm not saying all information is going to be proper, because at the end of it, you still got to do your due diligence. But at least you can start from a situation where as though that is worth starting from. And it's like every time you came up there, everybody was always wrong and you was always right. You can't get that when you walk in this walk, man. You definitely can't get that. You dig, man? You just can't. You can't play a role of super blood all your life. You know what I'm saying? You just can't. You know what I mean? It's never going to add up. It's never going to add up. It's never going to add up. Hold on for a minute, people. It's never going to add up, though, man. You know what I mean? It's just that simple. You know what I mean? It's just that simple. But I'm going to go on a quick commercial break, man. You know what I'm saying? Y'all keep winning, man.
Yo. 050 bucks. I see they out here hating. We viral, a cosign make motherfuckers hate. We winning. We winning. Us never them. UNT network with a network, make the network. Dark side general. Let them hate, let them hate. Let them say my name. Cause the hate is real, means we winning, we winning. Salute to my guys. 050 China Brim. Harlem legend, I see you, boy. You winning, keep winning, we gon' keep winning. Let them hate. Dedicated crowd music. Dark side general. Yo, 050 bucks. I see that they out here hating. Yeah. Yeah. They watching the metrics, watching it climb. With every new cosign, they losing their mind. The whisper turn the chatter the screams. It's all in the blueprint, it's all in the dreams. They thought it was luck, it was supposed to happen, but this is takeover. Here's the plan, while they talking about clicks. We building a throne, all the hate they gave us turn to stone for the foundation we own. Look at the wave, it's too big to capsize. The hunger is real, hate is realer, a cosign now. We are the sign, motherfuckers hate when the stars align. They biting the style, but they lack the nerve. UNT network, what a network makes the network. We're working. We winning, we win. It's us, never them. So let them hate, let them say my name. 050 bucks, 050 bucks. Cause the hate is real, means we winning, we winning. We winning, we gon' keep winning. Keep winning, so let them hate, keep winning. Yeah, we winning, we gon' keep winning. Keep winning, so let them hate. Love, yeah. From the ground up, we built this. In the face of the doubt, we turning up the heat. Shout to my guys holding it down. Through every storm, steady as a rock. 050 China Brim, Harlem legend. I see you, you winning, keep winning. This ain't just a moment, this is legacy. Talk, feed the sector, I'm doing me. No lie detected, dark side in the building, general of the sector. Dark side. Where the winners get crowned, and the doubters get drowned. The cosign now, we are the sign. Motherfuckers hate when the stars align. They study the moves, but they miss the soul. UNT network, we got the world on hold. We winning, we win. It's us, never them. So let them hate, let them say my name. 050 bucks, 050 bucks. Cause the hate is real, means we winning, we winning. Yeah, we winning, we gon' keep winning. Keep winning, so let them hate, keep winning. Yeah, we winning, we gon' keep winning. Keep winning, so let them hate. Let them talk, let them point, let them plot out the end. Every mention just a boost, my friend. The noise is the proof, the friction is the spark. We in the arena, they in the dark.
Salute to my guys, the ones who really ride, the ones who built the wall from the other side. Now watch the kingdom rise.
Dedicated grind music, winning. We winning. Dark side general. 050 the movement, 050 China Brim. Harlem legend, we win. Let them hate, let them say. We viral, we legend. Win it, we winning. We win. Win it. Let them hate. We winning.
And that's a fact. Keep winning. You dig? Keep winning. But, back to the spill. So that's what that's my, my joint. Shoot in the building, salute. DX to be next. You already, man. That's my spill on that. You know what I'm saying? So, for me, again, like I was saying, when tuning in to these videos, it was never one time where the nigga Manny held himself accountable. You understand what I'm saying? Like, he never, took accountability as far as just even say, yo, Dig, listen, I apologize. If my information is wrong, then I apologize for that. You understand what I'm saying? Because now you're in a position where you got people, which is that elder, that's here to correct you, where you ain't got to keep running off of third string information. You ain't got to keep doing that. You understand? You could be proud about the information that you receive from these people because this is facts. These are people who was either there, or they might have even wrote it, or they may even been part of the movie. So you can't go wrong. You know what I mean? Then you have to also keep in mind that you are representation of somebody else, man. You know what I'm saying? You repping LI. For those who don't know, Long Island. No, it's not a borough, but it's respected as one. You are holding these people down. You don't want to come up and every time somebody speak of LI, they like, oh yeah, that's where this such and such is from. You don't want that on your name. You know what I mean? And you don't always have to be super duper blood. Sometimes it's okay to be a punk. Sometimes it's okay. You don't have to be that one that want to be known as the OG of this or the OG is that. Sometimes it's okay to be a punk. In my life, I put in a lot of work as well. Have I been on an island and doing all that? Nah, I didn't. But I always took my talents outside. I was an out of town nigga. So every time I turn around, I'm in other people's backyard, putting it on. I don't get up here boasting my story. I don't get up here telling niggas, oh yeah, this is who I be. This is I don't do that. And I can because I'm a stand-up nigga. And I know this. And I rock with niggas that stand up niggas that you won't be able to be around from the niggas that I grew up with or grew up under. I'm just being honest. And my man Mikey B voice, but I don't get up here doing that because I know and understand those type of stories I have you somewhere where you don't want to be. Them type of stories I have you somewhere where you don't want to be. That's just one. Two, them type of stories, you got people who played in the movies, meaning the stories, that they don't even want to recap. They don't want to recap that. So you got to take this kind of information and you have to run with it. You don't always have to be the man on the line. You don't have to be the man that's number one on the line. You don't have to be that. Because when it gets to where it gets to and them, them alphabets start being on your top like a dirty do-rag, then that means you got to be the one to step up. Super blood. The OG this. You got to step up because now you already put yourself in that character. So this is just free game where you got to know and understand, man. When you're talking to this screen and you see that red or green or whatever, and that joint go live, sometimes you got to get out of that character, man. You know what I'm saying? You got to get out of that character because this is what we seeing every day on this social media. Dudes are going to jail. Dudes are getting indicted because they are coming up here pretty much pushing either bad dope, even if they pushing good dope. It don't need to be pushed. Because for the people who know, they already know. You don't got to alert nobody else to something that was done, something that they didn't see or whatever. Trust me, people seen it. That's just like me. Keep coming up here. Yeah, I'm such and such, and I'm like, my name ain't Bucks on the street. You understand me? So for me to keep coming up here, oh yeah, I'm such and such. Oh yeah, yo, I did that. Yo, and I was in plethora of states. Plethora of states. And I never went to a state carrying the same handle. That's how I know I'm really that nigga. And I've been in plethora. I heard many talk about Delaware. Yo, when I was in Delaware, it was nothing. Yo, I'm gonna tell you who I was in D-Ware with, who came through D-Ware, right? And we had a situation. I'm gonna tell y'all one. This is a real life story. I was in D-Ware, and I did a favor for the homie Duval, the Prime, and he was screaming Big Brim at that time, right? I knew this. I know this. You understand? And if the homie ever see who I be, he can vouch for it the same way. I took them to a dope situation. Facts. He'd tell you the same. Yeah, the homie Duval. Facts. The big bro. You understand me? So, a situation that happened. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. But the point I'm making is, you understand that when you got elders in the building, man, sometimes you got to stand down. It's nothing wrong with it. Stand down. And I was a household name in Wilmington, Delaware. Facts. Household name. Name still ring. And I got plethora of other states that I went to. That's why I said I took my talents outside my backyard. That's how I know I'm that nigga. I took my challenge outside my backyard, man, and I put on and I rap early. Cause I've been doing this early. 13, 12 years old. I'm in somebody else's situation, man, making that situation a situation. Facts. But, you know, when I tune in and I'm looking at Manny joint, you know what I mean? And I'm just, you know, saying to myself, it can't be everybody telling a false story and you telling a real story. You know, that's just what I didn't like. You know what I mean? Sometimes you discredit yourself. You understand what I'm saying? And when you start recanting your statements, last night, they brought the homie Yellow Boy up there. You gave a whole story with the homie Yellow Boy name in there, talking about, yeah, when he was this and he was that. We don't need to tell the story again. Go tune in to Hood Love TV. You know what I mean? Salute to the big bro, Mikey B. You debunked that wasn't the real Yellow Boy. But yet, you just told a whole story with this man's name in your mouth. Pause. Now you gotta double back, do backflips, do the moonwalk and all that now and say, oh, well, you know, somebody told me. That right there should make you like, all right, hold on. You know what I mean? This person told me this was bad dope. I ain't gonna push it. Boom. I got the elder up here. Now, where I can get the official information, let me pump my brakes and let me intake this official information. Because I know we're not the first people that you telling this story to, man. I know it's plethora more that you done told this story, but within you telling this story, you making yourself look like the bigger guy. And that's not what we do, you know, dealing with that brotherhood. I know you know what I'm saying, man. It's never we doing, well, it's never I'm doing me. But I just seen, yo, coming up, I just seen a lot of homies get beat up and not even knowing why they got beat up. All they just said was that one sentence, man, I'm doing me. Yo, what's up? What's poppin', homie? You ain't know you already, I'm doing me. You doing what? Bang, 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 bang. I seen it done. I seen it. So, you know, it's crazy. You know, then when you start to talking about trolling, you know, trolling come with a lot, you know, and you got to know and understand how to accept being trolled as well. You know, when you out there, you trolling, you doing your 1-2, you got to know and understand that, you know, you leave yourself open to being trolled as well. I know. It happened to me. You know what I'm saying? It happened to me. You know, you open yourself up to a situation and people jack it. Boom. Now you got this is why I said, you know what? I can't do the back and forth thing. You know what I mean? I have fun doing it. You know what I mean? And it's fun. It's entertaining. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, I save a lot. You know what I mean? I don't get myself caught up into the, you know, people shooting at my page, people saying that I'm bullying, and it's plethora more things that could be used against you when you really trying to make something out of this YouTube situation. And as y'all see, I've been doing a good job. You know what I mean? So not only did I save myself the headache, save myself from going on horse and other things and more of that nature, you know what I mean? I'm still able to get ahead and push that live button. And once them commercials go, no matter if I'm getting paid a penny, I got something generating. I could wake up every day and I could say at least I made something that day. You know what I mean? I made something that day. You understand? I'm a monetized channel. You know what I mean? I get commercials. I could be going bananas, which I should be. But I got other things going on. Like I said, I got a business, people. Us never them LLC, man. I'm in a buying a property, redoing them up, and yeah, you know, make sure other people get to their bag, even if I don't get a bag out of the situation. I could walk away knowing that somebody got a bag out of that situation. You know what I mean? I'm always moving. I'm always, you know, that's just what I do. You dig? So, for me to be woo, 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 with people up here, I mean, not even saying I had to catch myself. I've been knew it. Man, it was just a time that I could say, all right, well, you know what? Hey, yo, Bucks, are you willing to take the hit? And I was a willing participant to take the hit. I'm a willing participant to say, yo, I know my views gonna go low. You know what I mean? My last show, me woo 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 wooing and all that, man, 2-3 hours into the show, I logged off with 70 in the building. So my numbers was there. But I just knew and understand that that's something that I couldn't continue to do. Then you gotta be up there 3, 4, 5 hours and all that. I just really didn't have that to do. You know what I'm saying? No more. It start being it start becoming refurbished work. You know what I'm saying? Because now you have to keep drama going. You know what I mean? You got to keep, pause your name in certain people's mouth. You know what I'm saying? And at the end of the day, I'm getting paid to do it. But then now I have to think, am I really? Putting up 1,000 views ain't getting me no money. It ain't like I'm going viral. I'm talking about people that nobody know. We just stuck into this one section. We all sharing the same subs, same views. I wasn't getting nothing out the deal. But a dope show, log on, oh yeah, I got 800 views. Oh yeah, I got 2,000 views. That ain't getting me no bread. You know what I mean? So I had to really kind of revamp my situation without leaving the situation. You know what I mean? Rich Martinez, salute, my guy. You already, man. Keep winning. You know what I'm saying? Like, everybody like, yo, you got to lead a secular blow. I'm a firm believer you don't. I can do what I need to do right here. It's just sometimes you have to just wean away the people that really don't support you. And they show up that they don't support you. And the people who really support you, they're going to show up. That's just that. They're going to show up. And I've seen that in my journeys. I done seen it. You know what I mean? See people who act like they support you and then they'll wean themselves out. I don't get mad at that because you have the right to support who you want to support. Y'all don't see me up here boo-hooing about that. All I do is just let it be known. That's it. You know what I mean? Like, so it's situations when you're dealing with this social media, you have to be built for it. You can't not get caught up into the back and forth if you're not really ready to go back and forth. You can't get caught up putting yourself in a situation acting like you're bigger than, because it's going to be somebody else that's bigger than you. Then what? And that's like the situation in the Manny Brim situation. It's people that's bigger than you. In order for you to call yourself OG with somebody that came before you that made it possible for you to even put that name in front of your name. Because that's a tough label. OG, like that's tough. Then you got to stand on that. You can't just run around and you want to jack OG just because it sounds good or because you've been around solidified dudes. You can't just jack that. You just can't. And a part that was left out a lot of those lives, which it could never, because you wasn't willing to hold yourself accountable, which a lot of it should have just been like, yo, what is your angle? What do you want out of this? You know what I'm saying? Like, then we could have had a better understanding. Like today, you made a statement, you're trolling. If we would have knew that beforehand, a lot of people could have got a better, situation as far as, okay, he trolling, so let's not look too deep into it. Pause. Because he's trolling. But then what happens when trolling goes bad? This is where we at now. Y'all see what the title say. Now y'all talking about a boxing match. No, you kept saying, "Oh yeah, he said this and he said that." Meaning, it. I heard you say things about him as well. So it's like you leave yourself open when you start entering that trolling arena. You have to know that it's gonna come back at you. Plus two, you got to be willing. You got to be willing because you came in on that trolling, and everybody is not gonna take. Oh yeah, I said this, and you know what, my bad. I shouldn't. Everybody's not gonna take that kindly. You should know who you be, and no one shouldn't be able to tell you other because you know who you be. Trust me, I know, my guy. I've been through it. I've been through it. That didn't stop my growth, though. Set to try to drag me, that didn't stop my growth. I kept pushing, kept doing what I needed to do because I know who I was, man. You know what I'm saying? I know who I was. I know who I be. I don't let nothing else throw me off that grind at all. You know what I mean? So you have to know and understand when you have an elder of any sort, that sit there that's willing to let you know, listen, this is what it is. You have to be mindful. You have to be openly willing to accept it. Don't forget, dissect it. You got to dissect it. And then once you dissect it, then you can go ahead and do what you do because you did your due diligence. You know, it's like every time they came at you to kind of like, how can I say, challenge your story, it was everybody was wrong but you. And then your story was given to you secondhandly. That's the part that confused me. I'm like, wow, like, why would you push somebody else's story? You have people on the net thinking that you the one who probably was involved in the movie. You the one that might have pushed the pin on him. Like, it was neither of that. It was neither of that. You know what I'm saying? So now I'm like, okay. So when you start looking at things for what it's worth, I'm start like, hold on, wait a minute, man. Why everybody else's story is wrong and your story is the only right story and you was never part of none of them stories? Everything was like refurbished. Like, why would you push that? See, these are the things that these young dudes and these young ladies, that's what they doing now. This is why everything is so discombobulated. Because they get secondhand information and then they run with it. Then they go tell a group of people. Then them group of people tell that group of people. Now you got the story all over the place. Then on top of that, you got these young people, you know what I mean? The young adults, should I say, they're not even respecting their elders. And that's something like what you doing. You know what I'm saying, man? You got to respect your elders, man. And in this manner, the respect comes from just listening. It shouldn't have been 3-4 segments, because that's what it was. 3-4 segments of just, your name is going bonkers in the algorithm probably right now. You understand me? And wrong for the wrong reasons. And then you get upset because somebody's calling you out on that. You can't be mad at that. That's just something you have to take with a grain of salt. Damn, you know what? Boom, I did bad. They gonna check you. What I heard the big bro Cross say, you know what I mean? You got a little spanking. No, the big bros just gave you a little spanking, and rightfully so. That's what they needed to do, because what you was doing was tampering with their history. They had to tell you. It wouldn't be right if the big bros just sit there and just listen to you run your mouth. To me, I thought it was overdue. I just thought, that's just being honest in my man Mikey B voice. I just thought it was a little overdue. Every time you turn it around, you sitting there and you pumping this dope that, yo, listen, I'm OG this. Yo, when I came in the building, I had the whole building and this and this. Then I just think about one situation. I'm like, yo, baby girl Winnie salute. I'm like, yo, hold on, wait a minute. Boy, not even from the boroughs. And this is no knock on you, but I'm like, you ain't from the boroughs. Like, you never touched a foot on Rikers Island. Like, how are you just super blood and you ain't put no pain in, and you're not even first gen? Like, does this make sense? Like, these are the things that when other people hear this story, they say, damn, this is why them Don Moon niggas is such a... It's because of the things in the, that you bringing forth to the world, man. You know what I mean, Craig? And you can't do that, man, because what you do, man, you make other people, man, that rep and that have respect for this brotherhood, you make them kind of look bad. You know what I mean? And that's why I just didn't really jack the fact that every time you came on, it was like you. No, you forgetting about the people who put that work in before you. And especially if you ain't one that is on an island doing what you're supposed to do, for this brotherhood to be where it's at today. You're not one of them. You clearly say you went up north 2003. Like, come on, man. Like, it's like little things like that. You have to know and understand, man, when to hold them or when to fold them. In that situation, I just think you needed to fold them. You understand what I'm saying? So now we moving. This is like, what, the fourth day? Now the fourth day gets to a head. Pause. Now you talking about boxing Zip. Zip telling you he got 1,000. Zip wilding you up. Now you all out your character and all out your body. So I'm like, yo, I'm pulling up. Y'all throwing the Frank stand. Like, it's all because you jacking false information. And even now, you talking about you was trolling. I don't jack that. I don't jack that, but that's what you want to jack, and that's what you comfortable with jacking. That's on you. You know what I'm saying? But the day, it comes to now, oh, yo, you and Zip situation is coming to a head. Pause. Now y'all talking about putting the gloves on, fighting for $1,000. See, this is what I be saying. Like, situations like that should never occur. It should never happen because you got two brothers that put on for this brotherhood at one time or another. Why did it come down to this? This person said this about that person said this about that person. That's all it is. War words. So you mean to tell me that it was okay for you to speak badly about Zip because I heard you? And is it okay for Zip to speak badly about you? However or whatever, you said it out your mouth clearly today. It's called trolling. When you trolling, you can't tell nobody else how to troll. You can't tell nobody else how to, pretty much shoot back. Just being honest, and my man might get beat voice. You can't do that. So now it comes down to this. So now we gonna see what's real. Who's gonna bust that move? When this thing is gonna be set up? Who's gonna put the money up? Where y'all gonna, have this boxing event at? And how is this gonna end? Is it gonna just stay just with the boxing and in the ring? Is it gonna stay like that? You understand what I'm saying? Because it just has to. Pause. You know what I mean? But man, at the end of the day, you dig, it is what it is. I just had to break the news first, man. You know what I mean? I said, damn, hold on. Let me get ahead and get mine out the way. A little more. We supposed to have did a little hip hop weekly joint. We'll probably do that tomorrow. Vertical. We gonna probably do that at 4 o'clock. Eastern time. I'll be going vertical on that. You understand me? Ben, salute my guy. So that was that was scheduled. That was supposed to be scheduled. But like I said, I've been blessing Mikey B platform, tuning into the content that they had going on over there. And I think it was a much needed conversation. Hopefully, for the people that meant well about the conversation that was being had. I hope we can take that and we can start building and start making situations better for other individuals to get to that dollar, man. Because at the end of the day, this is all about a dollar. Just being real, just being honest, my man Mikey B voice. It's all about a dollar, people. If you ain't up here trying to get a dollar about this situation, then you in the way. Word up, you in the way. You know what I mean? There's just no way that, should I say, your end game is not about a dollar. And I just hope certain people is not up here making the ass up themselves and they ain't getting paid for it. You know what I mean? I'm not saying it's easy. You got to put the work in. You know what I mean? But use the energy to do just that. Put the work in. Because everything else should be irrelevant. It should be irrelevant. You know what I mean? Anything else, it should be irrelevant. It shouldn't be no ifs, ands, buts about it. You know what I mean? This is how you open the door. See, this is one of the reasons why I could never look back and try to shit on a nigga like China Brim. He ain't had to do what he did. I'm just keeping it real. He opened his platform up to a lot of people who's in this game now. I ain't saying y'all gotta run around and praise him and all that, but understand that, at the end of the day, no matter what he did, understand he opened up a door for a lot of people in their platform. You know what I mean? That's just a fact. You know what I mean? But that's just me, you know what I mean, how I stand on law. You understand what I'm saying? Oh yeah, make sure y'all go cop that merch, man. I stand on law merch, man. You know what I mean? Go cop that, man. You know what I mean? Hoodies, I mean, everybody talking about, supporting. A lot of people throw that word in the air too freely. You know what I mean? I guess a lot of people have a different meaning of being supportive. You did. I'm just saying. You know what I mean? But I'm still remain who I be, man. You did. I ain't gonna change for nobody. And I'ma always keep it a stat. I'ma always keep it a stat. It's only right. That's the only thing I know. It's the only thing I know. You know what I mean? But with that being said, people, tune in. I'll probably be doing something else on it. I wanted to drop a poll. That's a fact. I wanted to drop a pause on it. You know what I mean? I definitely wanted to do that. But I rushed. You know what I mean? Just try to put the content out there first. You know what I mean? Put people aware what's going on for those, who didn't tune in. Which the whole sector, tuned into it. The whole sector tuned in, man. You know what I mean? Yeah, make sure y'all hit that like button on the way in, man. Hit that like button, people. Hit that like button, share the live. You know what I'm saying? Y'all can come out the bushes, man. This ain't nothing too big. You know what I mean? Nothing too crazy. I bet if I'd have, put my title up as me shooting at Manny Brim or something like that, I'd have had 100 in the building. You understand me? We ain't on that type time, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm just, hoping, this is a learning situation. You know what I mean? Because everybody's still gonna learn. And I'm hoping this is one, you know what I mean? I'm hoping, Manny Brim will take this time out, you know what I mean, and learn. I seen it, he had one of his guys up there, one of his day ones, I would think. You know what I mean? I'm sure he was probably embarrassed today. You get what I mean? And that's what we gotta think, about when we step upon these platforms and we start acting other than ourselves. You know what I mean? Because now you putting other people in the line of fire where they either gotta lie for you, they either gotta, say things that, just to, back up what you saying just because you the guy. Like I've been through that. You know what I mean? This is what I'm saying. Like I give off information that I know that I've been through. And you already know what they say, man. Unchallenged lie becomes the truth if you let it. I've been through that as well. You know what I mean? You come up here, dudes start spinning the lies and things of that nature, and then you jack the lie, and then now the lie comes back and bites you in the ass. I've been there. Like, you understand what I'm saying? And then, then you get the individual, how can I say, they know and see that, that the lie's going a little too far. Instead of them being stand-up individuals, they keep running that to make themselves look better, and then to make this person look less than. See, that's what Manny, Manny, every time he turn around, he's making himself look better, and he's making pretty much everything under him look less. That's not what's supposed to go on. Skin and bone slope. That's not what's supposed to go on, man. You should want for your homie what you want for yourself. Don't you never try to downgrade a situation and pretty much put you in a better situation as far as mentally. You know what I'm saying? Like mentally, that situation that should help you. You know what I mean? Like you shouldn't have to worry about somebody running with a situation with your name tied to it, right? And you forcing your comrade to jack that, knowing that it's not true. And when it all falls down, you still running with it. That's corny. That's not real right. See, but you got some of these people, life being ruined from the gate. So now what they do, it's really called indirect hate. So when these dudes start indirect hating on you, jealous of how you moving and what you doing in real life, that becomes an issue for a lot of these people. And it'll show you. You ain't even gotta ask them. They'll show you this. You know what I mean? And that's a fact. They'll show you this. People to say nothing that they gotta sit back and ask you. They'll show you this. They will show you this. That's a fact. They will show you this. So, you definitely got to check yourself, man. You know what I mean? That's just one of those. You know what I mean? You either gonna check yourself or you gonna have somebody check you, and it ain't gonna end up well. Why would you want that? You know what I mean? That's the point I'm making. Why would you want that? I don't really see no good coming out of that. Because now that brings forth stagnation. And then don't get caught up in as they would say on that witness stand when niggas start questioning you. Because now you got to come up with some facts. You got to come up with some type of proof. And when you can't provide no proof, because you can't dress up a lie. One thing for sure, two things for certain, you cannot dress up no lie, people. You definitely can't dress up no lie. And definitely can't dress up no lie to make it look like a truth. It'll never happen. You know what I'm saying? So, I see what the title say, man. We got Manny Brim versus Zip with the Drip. A boxing match supposed to be set up. We gonna see where that go. They supposed to be fighting for $1,000. You know what I'm saying? And Manny been running around the internet for some time now. Telling his OG stories, his super blood stories. He had this locked and he had this like he's the only one. You know what I mean? Which it was just like, to me, it was just corny. You know what I mean? It really is. It's like delusional records, man. Then you start thinking about if the elders came up here already to correct your story, right? You're supposed to run with that. You're supposed to run when the elders come up here and they correct your story. You're supposed to run with that. Nobody's saying you soft. Nobody's saying you ain't put on. Ain't nobody saying none of that. But what they was saying was that the information that you was bringing to social media was wrong. And you had an issue with that. So that made you look like a bozo. You think what I mean? Respectfully, that just made you look wacky. Because now, let's just look and play devil's advocate. Let's look at some of the pups that maybe look up to you and they come up under you, right? What happens when they ignore your word of wisdom? How would you feel? How would you feel? Because right now you feel some kind of way because you think that you know that the elders was debunking your story, and they really wasn't. They was just correcting your story. Grown man thought salute. That's all they was doing was correcting your story. So now, what happens when you have the young pups, the young guys that come up under you and they disregard your voice, your word of wisdom? Because that's what's going on now. You understand? That's what's going on now. You got these people that's coming up here and they are saying, F you, who you? I don't care how much work you put in. This is what I'm doing now. This is what's going on now. So why would you want to be a part of that? You're supposed to set the trend. Don't let the trend set you. You understand? Like you got to understand how to move the crowd without moving the crowd. That's what an OG do. An OG is always openly standing to be corrected. This is what OGs do. Nothing else, nothing less, nothing more. You know what I mean? So these are the things that you just gotta you gotta whistle in, man. You know what I'm saying, Manny? You know what I mean? You just, you have to know and understand, man. It's okay to not be the superhero. You know what I mean? It's okay. Because trust me, man, when it all unfolds and you be wanting to be that superhero, guess who they gonna eat first? You know what I mean? Guess who they gonna eat first, man? The fat. They're gonna eat that superhero first. Word. They're gonna eat that superhero first, man. So people. Like I said, this is gonna be a short one, not a long one, man. I appreciate everybody for for pulling up. It was like, don't forget to go tune in, man. We got this Manny Brim Zip with the drip boxing match taking place. Y'all tell me who y'all got, man. You dig what I mean? Who y'all going for? You understand? Hopefully it's a non-violent, and everybody live to see another day. And on that note, man, it's your boy 050 Bucks, aka Mr. Shoot Right Back, aka the Dark Side General. You understand? And I'm out.